There was a time when this was one of the most popular building stones in America. Now, it's basically extinct. Today on Stones of America, we are diving all into American Brownstone. I'm Logan with Wikistone, and I want to welcome you to another episode of Stones of America, where we go across the nation, talk about the different types of stone, explore their geology, history, and how they're used today. On today's episode, we're talking all about American Brownstone. So when we're talking about brownstone, we really could be talking about a few distinct types. There's Portland brownstone that's found in Connecticut, Humelston brownstone that's found out in Pennsylvania, and a brownstone that's also found in New Jersey. And although they're distinct types with certain small differences, they were formed under a similar geological process. Now, about 200 to 220 million years ago, the continents were stretching apart. And as this happened, it formed something called rift basins. An easy way to think about this is if you took a piece of dry rotted rubber and stretched it out, you would see distinct cracks that open up. And that's a similar thing that was happening to the Earth's crust at the time. Now, at the same time that was happening, it was very arid. There was a lot of oxygen in the environment as well. And the iron-rich sediment was interacting with that oxygen-rich environment and causing a brown hue to form in that sediment. Well, that sediment would come down and it would aggregate in these rift basins and formed modern-day brownstone. So that's the geological process in which we got this. So let's talk a little bit about the history of brownstone. Now, this is probably one of the more historically rich stones in America. The quarrying of it goes all the way back to 1690 in Portland, Connecticut. That's when the first quarry opened up. Now, it wasn't at a commercial scale, but it was registered with the government at the time, and there are records of it. So people were using this stone way, way back. As we move into slightly more modern times, getting into the 19th century, brownstone's popularity exploded, and there were a few distinct reasons for that. One, it was located close to population centers. Think New York, Philadelphia. These areas were growing and they were building a lot, so they needed a stone that they could get easily, and brownstone fit the bill because it was right there. The second reason that it exploded in popularity is that it's a very workable stone. Brownstone is what they call a freestone, meaning you can work it in any direction. You don't have to follow the grain. So if you need to carve out blocks or an ornate piece, it's very, very easy to do so with brownstone. The third reason is that it's beautiful. It has a very rich, distinct color, and people loved the way it looked. So for all those reasons, in the 19th century, it became very popular. But as we move finally into today's times, those quarries have long since shut down. Brownstone's popularity gradually began to decline, and, one by one, those quarries disappeared. They either flooded, were shut down, or, just abandoned completely. So that's why we call brownstone, the extinct stone of America, because they're not quarrying any more of it. And if you want to get it, you have to get it from reclaimed job sites, which is something we do actively. We go out and search for it and try and salvage it because it's such a beautiful, historically rich stone. We want to preserve it. One day I hope to see quarries open up again in America, and we can, quarry and use this historically rich stone. So thank you for tuning into this episode of Stones of America. I hope that you learned something and enjoyed watching. I ask that you like and subscribe and leave me a comment. Let me know where you'd like me to explore next and talk about. Thank you.